Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to your favorite news destination. We are talking about the men in blues, Rohit Sharma's men. At the mid-inning stage, we had 1 foot very nicely placed into the final berth, but now it seems like we've solidified our position for the Champions Trophy final that's going to take place in Dubai. Who are we going to play against? Is it going to be South Africa or is it going to be New Zealand? New Zealand, we've just beaten them in the final group stage match. In the first semi-finals, ladies and gentlemen, India have beaten the Aussies by 4 wickets with 11 balls to spare. We had a target of 265 and it seems like Virat Kohli's 84 runs, Shreyas Iyer's contribution of 45 runs, and then KL Rahul, Hardik Pandya sort of like seeing off the match right at the end. What a game, ladies and gentlemen. A semi-final that lived up to every bit of its billing, nail-biting moments, momentum shifts and high-pressure cricket at its finest. India had a mountain to climb under the Dubai lights and they fought valiantly. They fought hard to chase down Australia's imposing total. Now, of course, Virat Kohli did not finish off the chase. He wasn't there completely. He couldn't even finish his century, but he put in a massive anchored 84 runs. It was a wrong one, well outside off, and he picked it up early and he backed himself to clear long on, but it did not have enough power on it. Celebrations have begun, ladies and gentlemen, in Dubai, across the length and breadth of the country here back at home. Let's listen in to some of the reactions coming from the fans glued to their TV sets throughout the day to catch this momentum shifting of a semi-final between Australia and India. Needless to say, the men in blue coming out on top. We'll talk more about it. Listen in to some of those reactions and the celebrations. They're going to continue into the night.
अच्छा लगा इंडिया जीता, बहुत खुशी है। वो भी ऑस्ट्रेलिया को हराया तो और ही खुशी हो रही है। उन्होंने हमें 2 साल पहले हराया था और उनको 2 साल के बाद में हमने करारा जवाब देके दिखाया। हम दिखा दिया कैसे इंडिया वाले दमदार है। इंडिया वाले
एवरीथिंग वाज सेट, मतलब फील्डिंग भी बहुत अच्छी थी इंडिया की। ये टाइम में बहुत अच्छा था। कोहली ने भी बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्म किया, भले ज्यादा टाइम तो रहा नहीं पाया, बट परफॉर्मेंस एकदम मैक्स था। सेमीफाइनल जीत के इंडिया फाइनल में जा रही है। बेस्ट, जरूर बहुत खुश है हम लोग। सब जोश में एकदम, फाइनल में एकदम। अब तो और गेम टफ होने वाला है और मजा आने वाला है।
एक्चुअली प्लेयर उसको ही बोलते हैं जो आप प्रेशर में जाके खेलते हो। जैसे विराट कोहली ने एक साइड संभाला था, ओके, उसके बाद उसको सपोर्ट भी बहुत अच्छे तरीके से श्रेयस अय्यर ने किया, तो एक साथीदारी बनती है ना, वो एक आगे वाले बैट्समैन के लिए बहुत अच्छा एक बोलते हैं ना, एक रोल प्ले होता है। फिर वो आगे जाके फिर बाकी प्लेयर्स भी आएंगे तो उनके लिए बहुत अच्छा एक लाइन बन जाता है ना वो खेलने के लिए। तो कोहली वाज द बेस्ट ऑन बेस्ट है वो। कोहली विराट कोहली गुड बैट्समैन है। डेफिनेटली देखो, हम लोग फाइनल में लास्ट टाइम भी वर्ल्ड कप में हम लोग 23 में हार गए, लेकिन इस समय हम लोग डेफिनेटली चैंपियन ट्रॉफी मारेंगे। आफ्टर 2013 के बाद हम लोग डेफिनेटली जीतेंगे।
Well, now joining me here on the broadcast is Shekhar Chandra Luthra, senior sports journalist, former Ranji player, has a first-class cricketing record to his name. Mr. Luthra, we were talking about how it's going to be very important for Rohit Sharma or Shubman Gill, either of the openers, to stay a little bit beyond the first power play, the first 10 overs. But that didn't happen. And then the second thing that we spoke about was how important it's going to be for Virat Kohli's wagon wheel, for his batting to anchor India through those crucial moments. And I think that's exactly what's happened. How are you looking at these developments? We're now on a 4th straight international tournament final.
Well, it was not an easy chase, let me tell you. The wicket was difficult, ball was not coming onto the bat, and if we have won this easily, all credit has to go to a partnership. That was Virat Kohli, obviously, with Shreyas Iyer first, and then Rahul. It was never been an easy wicket, but yes, we experienced that. Probably they were bit short of a good experienced bowler, because all their frontline bowlers, they were inexperienced apart from Zampa. Otherwise all bowlers were inexperienced, and that sealed it. Obviously it was fate for the Australians. Though they got decent total, but again, to restrict a team like India, where the batter, if Virat is the chaser, he's a chase master. you have to get him out easily. I mean, early, not easily, obviously, but early. And they dropped that catch also, if you remember. It was probably a
Very
half
nervy
chance,
moment.
again,
That was a very
yes,
nervy
very
moment. Let me tell you
very
that, Mr.
nervy
Luthra. And
moment.
I'll tell you what.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, sir. Right in the middle of this particular chase, people started really betting hard on Virat Kohli getting his century. I mean, he was looking in the pink of his form. He was getting the singles exactly where he needed. And then stepping out for that sixer. Do you think that shot was a little unnecessary towards the end?
But that happens. Cricket is all about your calculations and again the demands that, the situation asks for. But again, scoring century and then losing a game or probably taking it just till the end is not that necessary. It is important to have a comfortable victory, and that's what Virat ensured for India. And I mean, I never believed in any centuries or something for them. But again, it was a comfortable, good, calculative, very clinical victory for India. And we have to understand again that, in a tournament where India was always been blamed by Pakistan or the rest of the world for not going to Pakistan, for not playing, and playing all the games in Dubai and getting that advantage. It was very, very important for India to prove that, despite all these things, we are a team to be, beaten in the tournament. We are very formidable side, and without Bumrah also, we have so much of depth in our bowling.
Pertinent point.
And taking that chance of playing 4 spinners, I think it was a gamble that has paid off, definitely. But again, that was a gamble that could have backfired.
Mr. Luthra, in the run-up to this first semi-final and during the course of the Champions Trophy, mind you, just to tell the viewers, and Mr. Luthra, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, this is, I think, the 3rd Champions Trophy final that India has made it to consecutively. This is also the 4th. If I calculate the World Test Championship that we played last year, if we calculate that, this is the 4th consecutive international tournament final that we've reached at as well. We've already won the T21. Let's see what's going to happen here. Fingers are going to be crossed at this point in time. But in the run-up to this semi-final, everybody started talking about KL Rahul and his batting position. Why is he coming up at number 6, number 7? Why is he coming down so down the order? I think he's given an answer and shut up all the critics out there.
Well, it was crucial game for Rahul, definitely, because he was fumbling before this game, if you remember, behind the wickets. As a batsman, I'm all for Rahul. But again, as a wicketkeeper, there has always been a second thoughts why team management is not playing Rishabh Pant as a specialist skipper. And then again, he's a very, very good batsman. But that's the way, team has to, choose somebody and then put all the faith in that in that particular 11. They have done that. They have taken those chances. That has paid off well. And now that we will be playing our, again, 5th match as a final on the same ground, then obviously it will be advantage India. There is no doubt about that. Whether if South Africa comes, then probably they will be the newcomers here. But if New Zealand comes, they will be playing second game here. Then again, as I have said, he has lost 14 tosses.
All right, I'll ask you this question. I'll ask you this question then. Mr. Luthra, who do you think is going to be a more formidable opponent, if not an enemy at this point in time? Who's a better opponent right now? South Africa, great form. If you take a look at Rabada and Jansen, what they're doing with the bowling battery. And of course, the Flying Kiwis, something that we already spoke about in the mid-innings show. Who do you think is going to be the better opponent?
I think, to me, I believe during what I have seen of New Zealand, I think they are probably the best contenders here. Even before the tournament, they were my favorites. Because of the 2 things. The way they played against India in the Test series, they decimated India.
Let's not remind the viewers about that, sir. Let's not talk about that particular series.
And the way they were also dictating terms, in the last game, if you remember. I believe that they never wanted to face Australia. They took the other way around. They lost because they were very casual in their approach. Otherwise, it would have been much, much better game. But again, now that if they come back here, they have that experience of last game, and it could be a very, very good match against India. And I believe more than South Africa, they have a very formidable side, very good pace attack. But New Zealand spinners are also too good. If you compare with South Africa, I think their pacer and spinners have better chance of winning a tournament, then
I think
then
that would be a direct competition between Keshav Maharaj
Yes.
and Mitchell Santner.
Absolutely. And
And those two are also quite formidable when it comes to spin bowling. But I'll tell you what, Mr. Luthra, even as we're listening to all these fireworks and pyrotechniques outside our windows, I'm sure you're going through the same thing at this point in time. The celebrations will continue. I'm worried about a little aspect called too long a break. See, if we were playing the second semi-final and did not have many rest days before the final, I think that would have done much better to our team morale. Of course, rest is also important, but I think too much rest might also become a peril and a problem. What do you have to say about that? I mean, of course, I'm not an athlete or, an elite level sportsman. You have a Ranji record to your name. Do you think these kind of things matter?
Well, things, continuity is something that, every player wants to have. If you have too much of rest, and obviously sometimes, that boredom or that, that gap, sometimes that gets onto you. But again, these are very professional players. Remember this, that they have been playing almost 200 days out of 365 days. So, I mean, for them, having a rest of 3-4 days, probably that works good for them also. That could actually help them, recovering, and also from little bit of niggles. Because remember, when you are playing all three formats, and especially players like Rohit and Virat Kohli, who are also in the 30s, late 30s, then obviously it is important to have a little bit of good rest. Because after this, they'll be playing IPL non-stop of cricket. So sometimes it's good, but yes, I agree. Continuity is something every player looks at. And a little bit of rest, maybe that could go little bit against, but again, I don't believe in that, because they are too good a professionals to talk about them.
All in all, a great performance, don't you think, Mr. Luthra? The bowlers came in handy, the spinners came in handy, the fielding was much better when compared to the New Zealand game. And when it comes to the batting, I think everybody came through with their goods. Even Hardik Pandya right at the end. Jadeja got a little bit of a share and a say. KL Rahul, he finished it off in style. Virat Kohli acting as that anchor with Shreyas Iyer. And Gill, of course, did not work out this time around. Akshar Patel coming in at that, number 3 position very efficiently. And Rohit Sharma also, of course, we would have loved for him to stay on a little bit longer. Now, Mr. Luthra, what is going to be our approach after a couple of rest? We're going to be, of course, getting to know soon whether it's going to be South Africa or New Zealand. But all in all, the dressing room and the momentum, the morale, it seems to be just like a smooth sail when you look at the men in blue.
It's the most ideal situation for any dressing room. When you win consecutive 4 matches and with conviction also, you have to understand that this is probably a very, very different time for Indian cricket. We were very young when the 4 spinners used to play, Prasanna, Chandra, Venkat Raghavan and Bedi. But right now, I think playing 4 spinners on a pitches like this, and after that series, where we were decimated by their spinners, then obviously it needs a lot of courage. And in batting department also, whether it's Rohit, 1 good score, Shubman Gill, 1 good score, Kohli, 2 good scores, KL Rahul, Shreyas Iyer, continuously a very, very good contribution. We are playing a batsman shot in this entire tournament, if you remember. But again, we have been tackling that situation very effectively. We have been playing to our strengths, and we are not giving any chances to the opposition to come and dominate.
And we won't. And we won't give any more chances either, Mr. Luthra, when we're talking about the finals. Mr. Luthra, many thanks for joining us here on News 9. Always a pleasure to be speaking to you, helping us out with your insightful inputs. Ladies and gentlemen, KL Rahul finished it off in style, and India have qualified for the Champions Trophy 2025 final. He tossed it up. Rahul charged down. He put 1 onto the score, finish it off in style. Fingers crossed as to what's going to happen in Dubai. Is it going to be South Africa? Is it going to be New Zealand? Come on, the Blues. Let's keep cheering for the boys.
It's no more the days where people would have known the names of women cricketer. Now they know the faces of women cricketer.
Young girls are no more ignorant about, okay, the sport is only for boys or only for my brother.
When it comes to women, a very, very focused approach should be there to create an ecosystem for producing champions.
That's where we educate them. That's where the school has to say, when it comes to sport, there is no boys and girls. And that is where we have to set us that sort of environment.
It has to be more inclusive, equality has to be there, and it has to be based on merit.
It will only grow from strength to strength.
I'm an eternal optimist. With Mitalis around us, I'm sure that kind of change in mindset and that kind of encouragement for women to get into sports would definitely be far more prevalent.
We are all dependent on each other.
You can win and you will win.
Watch Do a Lot with Varun Das this Women's Day on the 8th of March, featuring Mithali Raj, only on News 9. News 9, English news as it should be.
Every brand tells a story. And they are the storytellers, the Sutradhars. They present a brand with band, baja and barat to you. They are the Brandwalas.
Light, camera and action. Kick back, relax, grab your favorite snack because News 9 is here with your weekend dose of entertainment. It's time to take a deeper dive into the buzzworthy happenings of the entertainment world. From celebrity gossips to exclusive conversations, from nostalgic moments to News 9's pick of the week. Don't worry, we've got you covered here. And I hope you've grabbed your popcorn by now because News 9's page 3 is here to serve you everything that we call entertainment. So do stay tuned every Saturday and Sunday, 2:30 p.m.